Getting your teeth kicked in as an entrepreneur sucks. I'm not going to lie to you today about that. Being an entrepreneur is one of the most difficult things to do. It's a lonely place. A lot of people in your life probably have no idea how to consult you on it, to give you advice on it, because they're not willing to do what we are willing to do and the risk that we're willing to take as an entrepreneur. But naturally, part of being an entrepreneur is learning how to handle defeat, how to handle some of those losses that we endure over the course of time when the majority of people don't understand us. They don't know how to even relate to what we're going through. And so you find yourself in this position where it's like, I'm trying to figure out how to handle this defeat, this loss, or something's not working in my business, and yet there's no one out there to help me. So today's video, I'm going to be going into some of the ways that I have found ways to handle defeat as an entrepreneur. 1, plan on it. Plan on losing, baby. It's just part of the game, okay? It's just like a football team. They don't go out and they're not delusional to think they're going to win every single game. Now, the goal is to win every single game, of course. But the facts are, at times, certain things in our businesses are not going to work, okay? You're going to have terminations. You're going to have deals that fall apart. You're going to have marketing campaigns that just don't produce the same results as they previously did. You're going to have times where a rule, a regulation, a change in, like when SMS got taken away from us. These are all different types of defeats, right? Losses that we've had to endure as an entrepreneur. You have to plan on that. Part of being an entrepreneur, and the reason why we have the ability to make the kind of money that we do when we succeed, is because we are risk tolerant. We are the ones that are crazy enough to stare at that defeat and say, I challenge you, motherfucker. I am not afraid of you. So if you've got that inside of you, you can't get mad when something doesn't go right and you take an L. It's just part of the game. It's part of what we do. It's our nature to sit there and say, I'm going to push the boundaries. I'm going to push this pedal to the max to see what happens. And then inevitably, every now and then, I went after a deal I probably shouldn't have gone after, and a deal fell apart. Or maybe you do everything right, and somebody else, an unbiased third party, comes along. There's something wrong with the title work. There's something that just out of your control kills the deal and hands you that loss. You need to have that as part of your plan. Mentally, you need to be prepared to know that's going to come along. Okay? So step number 1 on how to handle defeat is you plan on it. You know it exists. You know it's going to come along. So when it happens, it's like, all right, rub that one off. Get out of here. Let's move on. Keep trucking down the path. We've got a plan in place. We know where we're going. We have a purpose and a vision. And that one single defeat, or maybe that series of defeats, will not define my legacy moving forward. So plan on it. Number 2, gain some perspective. Okay? The problems that you have today were the opportunities that you were begging for in the past. Guaranteed. Guaranteed you were sitting there and saying, I just wish I could learn how to generate off-market leads. And then you do that. Maybe you invest in yourself. Maybe you sign up for something like Titanium University and you learn, okay, this is how I generate off-market leads. I just wish I knew how to talk to sellers and comp and underwrite. Okay, so you do that. And so that was like the wish, the desire. I just wish I could get the education and have the opportunity to do this. And then you go get a property under contract, and then some title work comes up. Maybe a mortgage is more than what the seller said they even wanted for the property, and it kills the deal. That's a loss. It's a defeat. It's crippling. Mentally, it crushes you, right? But the perspective side of things is 3 months ago, you didn't even know how to generate that lead. 3 months ago, you didn't even know how to talk to a seller. You didn't know how to comp and underwrite. You didn't even know how this problem that just killed the deal could even exist. So the perspective of it is that problem that you're facing today, you were begging for that opportunity. But now you've forgotten about that. You forgot about the perspective of where you've come from and all of the work that you've put in. It's so easy for us to forget about all of the things that we've learned along the way, all of the reps, all of the work that we've put in, the modules that we watch from the education program, the Zoom calls we sit in, the YouTube videos like this one that you sit there and you watch for hours upon hours. And then immediately we take 1, 2, 3 losses and it's like, oh, it's just not working. No, you lost your perspective on where you are in your journey. So if you remember, number one, you plan on it. That helps you, okay? And then always stop and think about the perspective of where you are today in comparison to where you were in the past, okay? Are the problems really as bad as they seem? This is what helped me back in 2019 when it was like, my God, dude, it's over. I mean, we're losing our ass on these flips. Well, I've got lenders calling me every single day, want to know where their money is. How are they going to get paid? What are we going to do with their dead property? All of these different things. And then I had to sit down and think to myself, there was a period in time where I would watch a house flipping show on HGTV and then jump on a Zillow and just be like, I wish I could figure out just how to flip one house. Now, does that mean I need to be like almost like psychotic and delusional and not even think about the problems that exist? No. But gaining that perspective at least helped me go, all right, I asked for this problem. This is what I wanted, and it exists today. And yeah, everything hasn't gone right. But at least now I have the knowledge, and I've gotten to this point where if I keep trucking, I keep going down, I can work myself out of this. Because I got this far. My God, I didn't come this far just to come this far. Okay? And neither did you. So if right now you're feeling like, man, a handful of defeats are going to define you, that's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. Get it out of your head. Okay? Gain some perspective on how far along you are in your journey, and don't let this define you. And especially don't let outside voices come in your head and define what you want to do with your life. Because something doesn't go right and they say, well, I told you you should have kept that 9 to 5. I told you should have kept that W-2. There's a part of you inside that said, fuck the W-2 and the 9 to 5. I don't want to do that. That's not what I want. And then you take a couple of L's. That's all right. That's what we are made for. We're made to stare at that L and say, fuck you. I keep trucking. That's what makes me an entrepreneur. That I don't stop. I'll figure it out. I'm a problem solver and I'm going to keep going. So gain some perspective on where you are in your journey. The third and final way that you handle defeat as an entrepreneur is you learn from it. All right. This isn't the whole fail forward thing. All right. But the facts are you're going to take some L's. All right. Now, don't repeat it. Okay. Don't do the dumbass shit where it's like, all right, I do something and then I take the L. And then RJ said, well, you plan on loss. Then gain some perspective. Okay. So I've watched a bunch of videos and I'm further along and I know what to do now. I know how to lead generate. I know how to talk to seller. I know how to comp and underwrite. I know what a title issue is now. And I know how to handle some of those. And then go repeat it. Take that L, sit down and go, how do we avoid doing that again? Because there's going to be times that you can just not predict certain things coming up. Okay. Learn from those and avoid repeating that over and over and over again. That will help you along the way more than anything. Is that, hey, when something happens, is there an SOP that we can put in place to avoid that happening again in the future? Is there an opportunity that exists right now for me to get better as a business owner, as the entrepreneur, as the leader of this organization, even if it's just you? Because inevitably, if you survive this series of defeats that you might be feeling right now, it's not always just going to be you. So you want to make sure that the people that come in that you hire and replace you and you start delegating things to don't repeat these same mistakes that inevitably led to losses and defeats. So you learn from it and you prepare for it and you say, okay, we're not going to make that same mistake over and over and over again. Okay. Those are the three main ways that I want you to handle defeat. The other thing is the bonus, the final thing that I'll say is, if you have taken some defeats as an entrepreneur, and now because of that, you lack motivation to keep going as an entrepreneur, you need to think back to the beginning before you even got started as an entrepreneur and ask yourself, what motivated you to become an entrepreneur? And does that outweigh the feeling that you have right now from taking a couple of losses? When you were thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, before you ever owned a business, before you even knew what industry you wanted to be in. If you're watching me, it's probably wholesaling real estate. Okay. So before you ever thought about becoming a wholesaler, did you think to yourself that sending a couple of terminations on a deal or a deal getting killed over something out of your control would end your entrepreneur journey? Highly unlikely. So if the motivation to continue going is lacking, you need to think back to where you came from and be like, oh, hey, the me 6 months ago when I wanted to do this, or the me 6 years ago when I wanted to start doing this, would laugh at me right now and say, stand the fuck up, bro. You're all right. So what? We lost the deal. We thought we were going to make some money. We didn't. It's okay. It's a hell of a lot better than where we were, where I'm standing 6 months ago, 6 years ago. This is what we asked for. We asked for the opportunity, and you have it now. You've taken all of these strides to become an entrepreneur. Don't let some small losses, some small defeats define you and in that journey, because it's part of the process. Show up every day, be consistent, plan on defeats, okay? Plan on small losses, minimize them as much as possible, but just understand that that's just naturally what we do as entrepreneurs. We're visionaries, we're creators of chaos, quite frankly. We're going to continue pushing until something breaks, and then we're going to go, shit, and then we're going to fix it, okay? So plan on it. Gain that perspective. Gain the perspective of where you are today in comparison to where you came from. Learn from those defeats. Learn from those mistakes. And if you're lacking that motivation, think back about where you came from and why you got started in this. And I promise you, you will look at this and say, all right, it's not as big of a problem as I thought. I got this. Let me know what you think in the comments. Shoot me a like. I appreciate you. Don't let these small losses define you. Keep fucking going. You're going to win. Appreciate you.